I'm really close to the camera because I've got like stacks of books behind me that are going to fall over if I move backwards. Hopefully it's fine. I'm losing my voice a little bit. I've just been at our work Christmas do. You heard that right. We had Christmas in March. It was great. Would highly recommend. It's beautiful weather, which is also why I look a little bit toasty warm. But I am Judith, you're watching Dead Good Book Reviews, and this is another What I'm Reading Right Now video. The light is rapidly fading. So I believe that the last time we chatted about anything, I said something on the lines of I was going to go and read Animorphs 32 next so that I didn't leave it for the weekend and not get around to it and have to put it into the next week. I think I said something like that, and yeah, that didn't happen. So I haven't read that yet, so that's still on the list. Just to let you know that I'm an absolute liar. I have read like 5 or 6 things, so let's go. First up, I finished The Bone Orchard by Sarah A. Mueller. This is a weird one to explain, so bear with me. Our main character, Charm, is sort of a madam, sort of a sex worker, in that sphere of things, and she controls / creates, hard to explain, bone ghosts that she also deals with, who also work in this house of various things that they live in. And the Emperor is she is the Emperor's mistress, I guess. And the Emperor says, I'm gonna die. One of my sons is going to kill me. I want you to figure out who it is. And there's various mind control things going on in the story that mean that she does have to do that. And it's kind of a murder mystery, kind of a mystery of all sorts of mysteries. It was really weird, but also in a lot of ways very, very Judith, in that it had murder mystery and bones, and interesting stuff about personhood and a little bit of body horror, and just there was a lot going on. I think I liked it. I think I ended up giving it 4 stars. I might reread it. It's really hard to pin down what I did actually like about it, because it's a very, very harrowing story at times, and there's huge content warnings that apply in this story. I found that the mystery of it all and the atmosphere that was created was really powerful. It's weird to say I think I like it, but I think that's where I've ended up. I think that I liked this book. I don't know whether I liked it a lot or if I liked it a little. 4 stars. It was a good time. I don't want to devalue the 4-star rating, but it is the one that I give the most because I'm bad at deciding on my feelings about things. Then I finished Song of the Dead, keeping on with the Dead theme, which follows on for a number of these books. This is the sequel to Reign of the Fallen. I will have an overbooked video for these coming out soon-ish. This did have the kind of YA sequel problem. I think that this does do a lot with what's left at the end of book 1, but it is the issue of book 1 is much, much stronger. And I think had this been a trilogy, possibly this would have been more successful, but there's quite a lot to pack in, and a lot of, mostly the legwork of relationship building, it isn't really necessarily there. Don't get me wrong, still had a good time reading this, just not as good of a time as Reign of the Fallen, which is such a good book. So it is a bummer that I do not own Reign of the Fallen physically, but as a duology, I really like them, and I like that it wasn't, in some ways I like that it wasn't just a standalone and we get to see more of after the end of that story. I don't know if this is the book that I want that to be. After that, another new release. I'm knocking them out of the park this week. Boys, Beasts and Men by Sam J. Miller. I'd not read any Sam J. Miller before. This is a collection of his short stories. And what I liked about this collection, I think I've decided that I mainly like collections that are all by one author. I think that's just where I'm at. But what I liked about this is that it's a collection of short stories from various different points in his career, but they are all tied together with another short story, and I find that so fascinating. And it was really well put together and really compelling, and it made it all fit in the same way that I quite like when authors do a bit of a retrospective. This felt like a really interesting way of threading everything together. There were some really good stories in here. There were some really powerful stories. A lot of it's focused on queer characters, particularly gay men, which isn't something I'd read much of, and I think that's really important to be reading. And a lot of it, the later stories where it really gets into some elements of the AIDS crisis, but still from a speculative perspective, were really, really difficult to read. But at the end of it, I was like, this is such a really good read, and I'll be looking for more of Sam J. Miller's work in the future, because I'd be interested to know if his other stuff is like this, or if this is like purely his short fiction. I'd recommend it if you were looking for an anthology of sorts. I thought it was really beautiful, and it's not super long, so you're not signing up for like 4 years of a short story collection. I had a good time. A good time being qualified with a lot of this was quite difficult to read, and Then, as promised, I finished V. Schwab's Gallant. I wasn't sure what to think going into this. I had no preconceived notions about what it would be about. I think I'd read one review for it and it was Ashes, and I knew that she wasn't totally sold on elements of it. I think it was like a 3-star read for her. And I ended up enjoying it. It is not my favourite V. Schwab by any means. At some point I'll make that video because I have read pretty much everything she's written now. I think it sits really nicely with both her older stuff and her newer stuff. So some of the lyrical, quite abstract, not necessarily filling all the details that Invisible Life of Valerie LaRue has, but with some of the portal-y, interesting world, spunky character stuff like the what's the series called? The Binding, the Dark Vault is the bind up of those, has. I liked it as like a representation of her work. It felt very much to me like a short story that had been built upon, and I think it might have been stronger as a short story because I think there's some things that are very well explained and some things that aren't super explained. And I think I would have rather had all or nothing, and a short story that was built off is how I feel about it. I do really like the art, and I really liked the characters, and I think I'm going to try and film a full video review for this. So if you would like that, let me know, because I am going to try. And then this morning I finished The Name of All Things by Jen Lyons. This has been my audiobook for the last couple of weeks, and I very much enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it much more than Ruin of Kings. I still think Ruin of Kings is a great book. I really enjoyed it, but this is almost the start to the series that I want. Like, you need Kieran's perspective, who is the main character from book 1. You need his perspective on these events, because it doesn't really make a lot of sense without them. But this is a second introduction to the story, almost, and I appreciate getting to see more of the world. I appreciate getting more story, and Janelle, who is my favourite character, is the main character in this, and I love Janelle with a deep, burning passion, like a fiery horse, you know. I've realised, having got to the end of this, that my recollections of the next 2 books are more of a kind of scattered miasma of not really remembering anything, to be honest. I can remember very few key moments, but if you ask me to tell you which one had which plot, I don't think I could. Maybe, so I'm excited to get into those. That will be audiobook as well. I think that I'm going to end up only reading Discord of Gods physically, which will be interesting. Maybe I'll do it physically and then do audiobook afterwards, because I already have a digital art for the physical one. But I had a huge amount of fun with that. I think it's a really good second Chosen One story, and I think the fact that this series almost has 2 first books helps really set up the epicness of the fantasy world that Jen Lyons has created. Loved it. That's everything I have read. I am working on 2 things at the moment. I'm working on In an Absent Dream by Shannon Maguire. I've been working on that for a couple of weeks because I had to put it on the back burner while I listened to Name of All Things, but I've picked that back up again now. I think I'll be finished with that tomorrow. I'm just working my way through the Wayward Children series. I'm getting a little bit ahead of my own TBR, which feels magnificent because my TBR is and I'm also reading Siren Queen by Niveau. I am 13% of the way through that book, and so far I'm enjoying it well enough. I haven't quite got into the meat of the story, but some of the world building and the kind of eeriness of this world has been set up, and I'm excited for what's going to happen. I think I'm enjoying it more than I enjoyed The Chosen and the Beautiful, which is a good thing because that's like my bar. My Niveau bar goes like, the novellas are right up here, The Chosen and the Beautiful is here, and at the moment we're here. So I like that a lot. I think it's interesting reading it off the back of reading the first book in the Arcadia Project, which is obviously set modern day Hollywood film production sets, and now being in the 30s. I find that very interesting. Oh, we're getting a guest. Hello, guest. What did you think of the books? Nose, snoot. Can we go to bed? And obviously Nevo's writing from a very different perspective there, but it is interesting experiencing 2 kind of, in some ways, very similar premises of what if there were literal monsters in Hollywood. So more on that next week, I suspect. If I can finish that, then actually all I have left on my list this week is Animorphs 32 and Animorphs 33. So I have absolutely no excuse not to finish them, because I shouldn't be picking anything else up until they are done. I have started Animorphs 32. I read like a page of it on a bus, but I need to knuckle down and get to that, which I think can happen over the next couple of days. Obviously, I'll be starting The Memory of Souls. Animorphs 34 will be coming up. I've got 3 more new releases to read in the next couple of weeks, which are A River Enchanted, When Women Were Dragons, and Saint Death's Daughter, because I realised I forgot to put Saint Death's Daughter into my schedule, and it's out very soon. Whoops! But they'll they'll be being read very soon. In terms of new releases, there are a few things coming out this week. We have Comeuppance Served Cold, which I read in February, I believe, by Marion Deeds. I really liked this. I think there's some elements I'd be really interested to hear what other people think of it, so I'm excited for more people to get to read it. But overall, my opinion on this was it's a good murder mystery novella. 1930s prohibition, but also magic. A good time. The Bone Orchard that I mentioned earlier, that I already talked about, that is out now. I was very late to the game on that one. Oops. The City of Dusk is out. I've not read it, but it is out. And A Magic Steeped in Poison. Dink, that's out as well. Oh, A Magic Steeped in Poison is the tea one. Oh yeah, I kind of want to read that. If you have read that, let me know, because I would like to hear your opinions. I think that's all from me. I haven't bought any books lately. I've not really done anything other than read and work and contemplate my own existence, as one does, and go to a Christmas party very late in the year. There we go. What have you been up to? What have you been reading? I would love to hear. Let me know down in the comments below. While you're down there commenting, if you haven't already, please do subscribe. It makes me feel loved and appreciated. If there's any of these you want individual reviews for, as always, please do let me know. Follow me on social media. Come hang out on Discord, where we have wonderful chill time talking about books. Nothing makes me feel more loved and appreciated and just generally fantastic than my patrons over on Patreon. You can join their number. That's all linked in the description as well. Thank you so much for watching. That's all from me, and I will see you in the next one.
There's gonna be some bloopers now.
Then, as promised, I finished.